boys. Today's video is going to be about how to lose 10 kg in 4 weeks. So there's going to be a very aggressive cut if you've ever heard of that, and I'll just jump right into it. So this is basically for if you have an event, if you've got anything in particular that you just want to lose a bunch of weight, and not just weight, I mean fat loss specifically. So when I do say 10 kg, it's probably a composition of a bit of water weight, some lean mass loss, and then a majority of it is going to be fat loss, which is what we actually want. So what I'm talking about is actually fat loss. So when I say 10 kg, it's probably around 6 to 8 kg of actual body fat. Just a disclaimer before I start this video, I'm not a doctor. This should not be used as actual health advice. I'm just a random gym bro who's experimenting with a bunch of diets and stuff. So take this as you will. You should probably ask your doctor before hopping on any of this advice. So just a heads up, not trying to get sued, you know. So step 1. I want you to go on this website. It's called TDEE Calculator. So this is essentially going to show your maintenance if you don't already know, and it's going to show you roughly the macros and body fat you're at. The body fat part isn't really that accurate because it depends on a multitude of factors. But if you want a general guide on what your maintenance is, go to that website, fill in your information and measurements, and then it will spit out a number that's fairly accurate. Once you've gotten your maintenance, I want you to subtract around 1500 calories. So for example, me, I have a maintenance of around 2900 to 3200 depending on my activity. So if I minus 1500, that'll leave me with around 1500, 1700 calories to play with. So that's going to be our new deficit that we're going to stick with for the next 4 weeks. And just a heads up, a big deficit does not mean muscle loss. There actually has never been a study where a big deficit actually causes muscle loss. It's probably protein amount, overworking at the gym, some sort of lifestyle habit. It's not actually the deficit that creates the muscle loss. And that's the key term, if you do it properly. We're only doing this for 4 weeks, so it's quite aggressive, but we're not doing it for a prolonged period of time, so you shouldn't lose any muscle. You should actually be gaining muscle and gaining strength, even though that's not our primary target. We're just here for the fat loss side. So once again, if you're eating high protein, if you're training 3 to 6 times a week, you should be absolutely fine. I'm currently training 6 times a week, and I've never felt stronger and better at the gym. So now we're gonna set our protein amount. So this should be around 2 grams per kilogram of body weight. So for example, I'm 96 kilograms, so that's approximately 192 grams of protein. You can have a range of 180 to 220 for my body weight. So that's what I'm currently eating. It can get a bit high, but a reminder, on the days that you can't really have that much protein, aim for at least 150. That should be the least amount you eat, because once again, we're trying to maintain muscle mass. We're not trying to build, we're not trying to do anything besides lose fat and keep your muscle. Now for carbs, this is essentially going to be the hardest part of this whole cut. You're basically going to be on keto, so this is going to be less than 50 grams. I aim for around 1 banana's worth of carbs, so it's probably like 20 to 30 grams. So you want to have probably like a banana, a tablespoon of honey or something along those lines before your workout, probably 30 minutes before your workout, just to give you that quick energy boost to get you through the actual workout. But besides that, you should stick to mainly carnivore. And once again, I know that carbs are essential for brain function, hormonal reasons, even energy. But once again, this is a 4-week aggressive cut, and we're going to prioritize fat loss. This essentially helps us flush out all the water and lose a bunch of weight at the start. It makes us look drier, vascular, and your face will actually slim down a lot in the first week. And for fat, I want you to keep this pretty high, so at least 50 grams to 70 grams of fat. This will ensure we get good sleep and testosterone. So you don't want your test tanking as well as your calories. So keep your protein and your fat as high as possible while keeping your carbs as low as possible for maximum effectiveness. Next is going to be your sleep. You want to sleep for 8 to 10 hours if you're already not. This will help us retain muscle, lose a bunch of fat, because that's when your body repairs and actually burns fat the most. So I want you to sleep 8 to 10 hours because you just get a bunch of benefits from that. And for the diet part, I want you to eat whole nutritious foods. So this means eggs, tuna, red meat such as lamb and beef, organ meats, chicken breast. You can eat pork as well. Just make sure it's the leaner cuts of meat, and you should be all good for that. So anything heavy in micronutrients, so your vitamins, your minerals such as eggs, that should be all good because you're keeping your hormones in check and you're being healthy. Your training should continue the exact same. You shouldn't stop, you shouldn't get weaker, you shouldn't really remove any exercises. You should actually get stronger. I'm currently training 6 days a week. I'm currently training a push-pull leg split with 1 day in the middle for rest. and I am getting stronger even with this deficit. So it just proves that the caloric amount doesn't really matter if it's just for a shortened period of time. This one's actually really important, meal spacing. So I want you to basically intermittent fast the whole entire morning. When it reaches 1 p.m, I want you to eat a 1000 calorie meal. So this should be of pure protein. So I currently eat around 500 grams of chicken breast with 1 banana, and I cook the chicken breast in 20 milliliters of olive oil. That gives you around 850 to 1000 calories, depends. And you can also pair that with some eggs to hit that 1000 calorie mark. This should be around 100 to 150 grams of protein just for that meal. And yes, your body does absorb more than 30 grams. I don't know what that myth is, but your body can absorb more than 30 grams per meal. Next, I want you to wait a couple hours and then eat again at 6 to 7 p.m. So this should be at a regular dinner time. I want you to eat 500 calories. I know it's a bit little, but you should still be full from the lunch you had. So this should be around 4 to 6 eggs. It depends how you cook it, in butter or olive oil or etc. So this should still keep you full for the rest of the night. You can have eggs, you can have tuna, you can have even protein shakes if you want. You can have 2 protein shakes. This should keep you full for the rest of the night until tomorrow when you have your next meal. And that's about it for this advice. Basically, I want you to try this out for a week. If you notice you're getting slimmer, you're losing a bunch of fat, a bunch of water off of your face, basically just repeat. Just spam this advice. If it works, don't change anything. Just repeat and spam, and essentially you'll get a lot better. So you want to do 4 weeks on, then 2 to 3 weeks of refueling, and if you need to lose more fat, do another 4 weeks on. So the weight you're expected to lose is probably 1.2 kg of body weight. So this is probably a majority of it is going to be water at the start, but it's also going to be a mix of body fat as well. And then once that initial stage dies down, it's going to be consistently body fat, which is what we want. So in total, by the end of the month, you should have around 7.5 to 9.5 kilograms gone, and it's going to be around 6 kg of body fat, which is actually extremely good, especially since it's only a month. And this is, again, just for some important event. Maybe you want to go to the beach, maybe it's summertime, so that's what you're trying to achieve. And that's about it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any other suggestions or feedback, just post it down in the comments and give this video a like. Remember, in adversity is where you find character. Thanks.